friends, welcome back to A Knitter's Life. I'm your host, Christina, and here's another little time for us to sit and chat about knitting. I've got my cup of tea. Do you have yours? Or something either cool if you're in a hot climate or warm if you're in a cold climate. I know the East Coast of the U.S. just got blanketed with another little blanket of snow on the second day of spring. So although we're all eager and anticipating spring, winter decided to have one little last go. Hopefully it's a little last go, but you know, it is only March. The thing is, we just had some really lovely weather. We had some weather in the 60s and the 70s, and you forgot that it was only March. And we started playing outside and eating outside, and I started working in the garden, and totally forgot that, yep, we're still in March. March can throw us a couple of curveballs, and it's still allowed. So this past day, yesterday and today, were cold, much colder. We had a frost. So my pansies survived. One of my pansy pots I brought in, but most of my pansies survived. Yes, during that warm spell, I had to get pansies. I just had to go out and get some flowers to put in the garden and on the back deck, just because we were spending so much time out there, and it just, I need flowers. It's flower time, people. It's flower time. So anyways, that's okay. This is what spring does. It's okay. It throws us a few curveballs, but the other thing it throws us are more baby goats. Yes, we've been back to visit the baby goats, and this time we visited their half-siblings, I guess you would call it. Joanna Spring of Knit Spin Farm, and you can find her on YouTube, her wonderful podcast. She had four more her goat had four more baby goats. And this time we got to go up after they were 3 days old, maybe 3 or 4 days old. She said she was having visiting hours on a Sunday, and so the whole crew of us got to go up. My husband JK and the two boys and I got to go up all together, which was so much fun, because John had been disheartened that he had missed the visit to the baby goats, and well, JK didn't mind. He wasn't, you know, he takes everything in stride. But I was so grateful to have another pair of hands and eyes just to watch the boys, because little A is pretty fast, and you know, as 2-year-olds can be. So it's always helpful to have another pair of eyes and hands to help. And then I was able to chat a little bit more with Joanna, which whenever we go up, we do have a wonderful time chatting, but I felt like I was able to enjoy it a little bit more because JK was there, and I could say, okay, it's your turn to watch, and I can talk with Joanna. So it was so much fun, and Joanna was so welcoming again, and Arthur and John were so cute with the baby goats. So I think Arthur was in heaven again. John was in heaven. He fed all the chickens, 47 chickens, and he loved it. I think that needs to be his permanent job, Joanna, whenever he comes up to the farm, is feed the chickens. I have some pretty fun pictures of that, so I'll have to slide them in at the end again somehow, or maybe at the beginning, so maybe you've already seen them. But anyways, so that was some of our spring expeditions that we've had, which have been a ton of fun, besides gardening and besides school. And the other fun expedition that we had was John had a Saturday school, and Saturday school is where the parents come, and the parents have to attend. So a child has to have either a guardian or a parent or a grandparent attend with them on these 2 Saturday schools. And it's really good. It's really fun. You get to participate with the kid, and you get to sit in their class for an hour and help them. And this time they had speeches that the children had to give. Now these are first graders. So the first graders, we had helped each of our children do a report, and they did a report on an African animal. And then the teachers helped the children come up with a little speech that they were to give. And so they were to stand in front of the class and read their report. So they had their boards up there, and the teacher helped, each child would come up and read their speech, and it was so much fun. It was so much fun to see. And John got up there and he had his speech memorized. He wouldn't practice it with me. He wouldn't practice because he wanted to be a surprise, which I thought was very sweet. So I asked him, I said, are you sure? Mommy still will be surprised and amazed, and it'll be wonderful. I'd love to help you if you want to have help. No, I've got it. I'm good. Somehow he had managed to memorize it. And he just stood in front of the class, and he looked out at all the teachers and all the kids and all the parents, and he just gave his little report. It was so adorable. It was so fun. So then after that, the adults had classes, and the classes are wonderful. They're usually about habit forming, how to form good habits in your children. They're just really good overall. How to teach your kids math. What are some of the other ones? Music theory, and how to encourage your children with rhythm and music at home. So it's wonderful. The school gives you tools to then just supplement and reinforce things at home, which is really wonderful. So I've taken some of those classes before, but this time I saw on the agenda they had a 2-hour weaving class in the art studios. So guess where I wanted to go? Yep, they said they only had room for 35 people. So as soon as my class, John's class was done and they released us, and John had to go do his regular school with his class, I ran down to the art class, and there was still some space, so I was so excited, and I got to sit there. The teachers, there were 3 art teachers, and they gave all of us adults kind of like just a little background of what the different grades do for art, what they're working on at this time, and then why they teach weaving, which was absolutely fascinating. One of the reasons why they teach weaving is because it develops the right and left brain simultaneously, just like knitting does, because you're using both of your hands. So when you're using both of your hands on a project, you have to use both sides of your brain, or I don't know exactly how it works, but it was absolutely fascinating. And of course I didn't take notes. I should have taken notes. But so one of the teachers had gone to South America and studied, I'm going to forget the name of it. You guys probably know. The weaving that's done down there. And she gave a demonstration. It's the weaving that's done where it's hooked to something exterior, like a door or a beam in a house, and then you wear a special belt. I'll figure out the name and I'll put it in the notes below. But it was fascinating, and they dye all their wools and their fabrics are all dyed with natural dyes down there in South America. So she had a slide presentation to give us a parents, and then she said, okay, now we're going to get busy and we're going to weave our own projects, and we're going to make little coasters out of rags. I was like, this is exciting. I've done spinning and I've done dyeing wool, and of course I knit, but I haven't really done very much with weaving. So this was very interesting. I was absolutely fascinated with it. But we took a piece of really stiff cardboard and we used that, we warped that, and that was our mini loom. It was fascinating how she did it. I think she said she got it from thewoolery.com. So I'll have to see if I can find that. Or you could just use your own piece of heavy duty cardboard. But then she had us use cotton, a really thick cotton, really thin cotton for our warp. And then for our weft, we used just random strips of cotton material. So some of it seemed to be just odds and ends I'm really not too sure. They're probably all donations for the school, but we did a little bit of wool on the top and the bottom just to hold it into place, and then we did the weaving back and forth. So this has really piqued my interest. This is my little piece that I did, and so far I've just been using it as a coaster for my teacup. But my mind has been taking this all the different places that it can go. You know, I want to warp a really big piece of something and make a big rag rug for my kitchen or my entryway. And then I've decided, no, what I really want to do is I want to warp picture frames, because I've seen that you can use old wooden picture frames as a loom. And then I want to warp that, and I want to use some of my hand spun odds and ends, because the hand spun, I really loved weaving with the wool. The fabric was just fine. Whoa! I'm gonna make you guys fall down. The fabric was just fine, but it was fun. You know, I love the wool, so it was fun to weave with the wool. So I really want to try my hand spun, because I think that the hand spun would just give it some added texture, some added color, just some things that are different. So I have an idea. Whether I get to that idea before the next podcast, we'll see, because we do have a lot of things coming up between now and when I should podcast next. But we'll see. So stay tuned for my what's now going to become my weaving craziness, but it will be fun. Oh my, there's too many things going around here, aren't there? There's too many things to do, too many things to get excited about, try out. Anyways, okay, sip of tea. Oh, this tea that I'm drinking is absolutely fabulous. It is a new to me tea, and a new to me tea company. One of you lovely people gets this tea from this wonderful tea company, and suggested to the tea company that they should get in touch with me. So they did, and they sent me some tea. The tea company is called Plum Deluxe. Isn't that like just so perfectly delightful? Plum Deluxe. And it's a tea company out of Oregon. They use all organic ingredients, which I think is wonderful. And they do their own blends. And all the blends are centered around moments to savor. This tea that I'm drinking right now is the Reading Nook Blend, which, it smells so good. It has lavender in it, lavender and chamomile and black tea. I'm going to forget all the things. Well, one of the things, love and gratitude too, which is so Today sweet. I decided to brew the Reading Nook Blend, which doesn't that sound delightful? I want a reading nook. I want time to have a reading nook. But I do. Actually, the Reading Nook Blend would be perfect. JK and I always make a pot of tea after the children go down for the night, and we take it up to our room, and we do have our reading nook upstairs. We have in our bedroom, we have a little spot with both of our chairs, and I have my ottoman to put my feet up, and we sit and have a cup of tea. Usually we have 2 pots of tea. Yeah, we're tea jennies. And thankfully my husband drinks tea with me, and he actually, in the evening, he always makes the pot of tea for me, which is very nice. So this is would be our time to have this tea, because it's really nice. It has black tea, rosebuds, lavender, chamomile, love, gratitude, natural flavor, and it's all organic. One of the things that I noticed about this tea is just after I poured the water in, hot water in, put the tea cozy on, and then I let it steep for 3 to 5 minutes. I think it was about 5 minutes. And I took the tea cozy off, and I just had this beautiful aroma of lavender. And you usually don't get that. I mean, I've had teas before that say that they have lavender in it, but you really can't taste it. So I was so surprised to pull, and it wasn't an overall, it wasn't too much lavender. It was just this delightful scent of lavender. So the thing that I thought, wow, everything in here must be really, really fresh in order to have all of those flavors coming through, because you do taste the lavender and you do taste a little bit of the chamomile. And because lavender, lavender is one of those stress relieving essential oils that when you're stressed out, take lavender, and rose essential oil as well, which there's roses in here. So I also thought this is just definitely a great blend for relaxing and reading a good book. I was thinking after tasting this tea today, so good, that it would be the perfect tea to have on Easter Sunday afternoon. We usually make our tea and bring the tray outside to the backyard for the Easter egg hunt, and all the adults get to have a cup of tea while the kids go and go on the Easter egg hunt. So I was thinking, I always like to have a special tea for holidays, and serve that special tea then. I usually have my Christmas tea and then Thanksgiving tea, but I hadn't gotten an Easter tea yet. So I'm thinking that this might be the Easter tea, because it's definitely very lovely. Oh goodness. Okay, cup of tea. Nothing like it. So I would definitely heartily recommend this Plum Deluxe Reading Nook tea. Isn't that lovely? I think we should rename it the Knitter's Nook tea, don't you think? For us, we could rename it. Not for everybody else, just for us. Well, the problem is about this tea, you just want to sit and relax. One more sip and then we'll get busy. Okay, what have we been up to? Well, we've been up to the postcard knit along. Oh my goodness. Do you guys remember last episode I said I was going to try this crazy idea of mine, that we were going to send out I was going to send out postcards to anyone who wanted one, and all you had to do is PM me in Ravelry and I would send one out to you, and it didn't matter if you were in the US or international. I would send it to you, and then we would all share it. We could either share it in the Ravelry group, or we could share it on Instagram with the hashtag A Knitter's Life Postcard. Oh my goodness, it's so much fun! So I've been busy sending out postcards, and I even had to order another box of postcards, so this is fun. And then they've begun to be popping up on Instagram, and they've begun to be popping up in Ravelry as well. So if you haven't seen it, if you've been lost in the woods somewhere, hop on over to Ravelry and see the postcards in the thread, and then hop on over to Instagram and search under tags for A Knitter's Life Postcard and see the different postcards, because they're from all over the world. It's all of you wonderful knitters all over the world doing some really fun knitting, and just I love seeing the beautiful bags that you have your projects in, because the idea is you need to take the picture with the postcard and your current whips, what your knitting life looks like at a moment. WISNOR, so Windsor, but it's capital WIS in capital OR. She's on Ravelry. She posted her pictures. She was at a knitting retreat up in the mountains with snow, and so she took a picture and posted it in Ravelry, and that was so much fun. So, and I think B-Wing was making some beautiful Easter, what she was calling Easter egg socks, and they did look like Easter egg socks. It was so pretty. So it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun to see your knitting life, and it's a lot of fun to share it as a community. So if you want to jump in, PM me on Ravelry, so send me a personal message on Ravelry with your address, and I will send it out to you. I try to respond to every to every message that gets sent to me in Ravelry, although I have been having a little bit of a hard time keeping up and keeping the postcards addressed and posting them in the mail. So if I don't respond to you right away, don't worry. Your postcard is coming. It's just that I haven't had time yet to do both. So I try to address your postcard and get it into the mail to you, and then try to write you back. So anyways, that was so much fun. It's been so much fun to see, and I hope you guys are enjoying it too. I'm thinking that we might need to make this have a giveaway prize because it's just so good. You guys are doing such a good job. So if you are a maker out there and you want to support the podcast by giving something that you have made to be a prize for the Knit Along a Knitter's Life postcard cal, send me a PM on Ravelry, or you can even PM me on Instagram too, a Knitter's Life on Instagram, and we'll get talking and we'll get things figured out. So that has been a ton of fun. So keep it up, guys. Keep it up. Send me your addresses and I'll send out a card to you. It'll be fun. Some finished things. Are we ready to move on to finished things? Let me think. Yes, I think we are. Wow. This has been a long time in coming. I have been so eager to talk to you about this. For those of you that subscribe on YouTube, you've seen I released a little video about this pattern. This is the Amica cowl, and then I did this in conjunction with Brownie Knits over on her podcast, and we love designing together. We did one other set together, and this is our second set. We decided to do a crochet set. You know, we both love knitting and crochet, and so we decided to do a knitting collaboration and then a crochet collaboration. So she designed the mitts and I designed the cowl, and it was a ton of fun. It was a challenge at times just because I normally design in knitting and that's my language, and then to switch over to crochet, which I love and I do a lot, but I don't think of it as fluently as I think in knitting. So it did challenge me, but as an artist, it's always good to be challenged. So this is done in the Knitplicks fingering gloss, and I really, really do love how it turned out. It is very soft and drapey, and it just feels nice and it keeps you warm. So it's the perfect little spring set to have on a spring walk. You definitely need it out there today. It's a bit nippy. I love Gina's little mitts that she designed because, again, they're nothing too, they're not heavy and cumbersome. They're nice and light and pretty, just enough to keep you warm. And you can either use a button, or I did the center of the flower that's in my pattern, just the center part. I didn't do the other two petals, and sewed that onto the wrist part on both of them. So that's that. I will leave in the Ravelry notes in the Ravelry thread, I will leave links to the pattern, and then also there's a coupon code for both patterns, so you can get the set. So we had fun. We really did. It's always a joy to collaborate with another designer or another maker, and this was a fun collaboration. So they're really sweet together. It was fun. So I have had that done for a little while, but I haven't been able to show you, and it's always so fun to be able to show you when we can release the pattern. So that was fun. The other thing that I finished, if you've followed me on Instagram, you've seen it already. I finished the beautiful Arabella scarf by Skano. And this was a kit that Skano sent me. And it came, it's so long. Can you see it? So they had this as a scarf, not joined together. But I decided that I wanted it joined together to be an infinity cowl. So at the end, I just seamed it together. And I didn't seam it end to end. I just seamed it a little askew like all the other ones are, so that you can kind of see the seaming a little better on this side. So that it would look like it's continuous. And it does look like it's continuous, and it is absolutely lovely to wear. So I have 2 spring cowls. I am thinking that this would go very nicely for Easter. Might wear that with a white dress that I have. So we'll see. That would look really pretty for Easter. So that was definitely a fun knit. It was a fun kit to get. It was well done, well put together, really nice, lovely yarns. If you can see just the hue of those yarns, and they're very soft. And it was a simple but well thought out pattern. So definitely worth doing. So that's that. Those are like my finished items. I did finish a sleeve in my Call the Midwife sweater. So I have both sleeves completed. Again, here, let me sit back so you can see it. There we go. Both sleeves completed. And I need to pick up and do the button band. So it is almost completed. And again, for those of you who are just joining in on this conversation, I love the series Call the Midwife. Absolutely adore it. And I just got this fancy to make a Call the Midwife sweater. There isn't a pattern out there. I just did a gauge swatch. The yarn is Knit Picks Sport, Wool of the Andes Sports in the Holly Berry colorway, which is the perfect color for the Call the Midwife sweater. And then I did the contiguous set-in sleeve method. So, and since it's so simple, that was really all that I needed for the pattern. So then I'm going to pick up the button band and do that. So, okay, so I had this done 2 weeks ago, right after I finished the last podcast. I got it done fairly quickly, but then we had that spat of warm weather, and I thought, well, I'm probably not going to wear it this year because it's now getting warm. Well, now it's cold again. And if I had finished it right then and there, I would have had it for this week of coldness. So I'm determined. I need to finish it within the next day or two so that I can at least wear it this spring and get some use out of it before I put it away for the fall. But it's the perfect weight. A sport weight sweater is a very nice weight of sweater to wear. So, okay guys, I have to do it before I see you again, okay? Okay, that's a deal. Okay, I do have a little bit of finished spinning. Oh, one more thing I wanted to say about that. First, a sip of tea. This Reading Nook tea is too good. In the Ravelry group, under the thread of last episode, there was some brilliant conversation going on about knits that we'd like, that are in movies that we'd love to see patterns for. And I'm getting out my notes because some of them that were mentioned were the Anna Green Gables sweaters, in particular Marilla's sweater, and there's a picture of it in the Ravelry group, and then Matthew's shawl collar sweater that Matthew wears. Go see if you agree with us. They would make fabulous fabulous sweaters. So thank you. I forget who posted that. I'm sorry. blanking out. But thank you for posting that inspiration, because that was so much fun to see. And then another one in our community posted some Narnia sock pattern, King Peter the Magnificent sock. So we were on this discussion of some of us haven't read the Harry Potter series. We grew up on the Narnia series. And so we were having this discussion about how much we love Narnia, and I know I've been reading those books to John, and he's loved them. And then to find out that there's some sock patterns, and I guess there's King Peter the Magnificent, then there's a sock for Susan, and there's a sock for Lucy. And there should be a sock pattern for Edmund coming out, I guess. I need to do some more research on that. But that was so much fun. So thank you again for posting that. That was great. And then I wanted to post this, and I need to post it, but I love the Miss Marple series. I love in particular this series done with Geraldine McEwen. I loved her as an actress, and I just thought she pulled off Miss Marple so exquisitely well. You know, Reading Nook tea goes very well with Miss Marple, doesn't it? That's kind of the tea to drink while you're watching a Miss Marple, isn't it? Ooh, I like that idea. Having a Miss Marple party and okay, too many ideas going. Anyways, in the Geraldine McEwen series, she's always knitting. She's always knitting in it. And some of the sweaters and shawls that she wears are just to die for. And as well as some of the characters. So I have thought, wouldn't it be fun to come up with Miss Marple patterns? Wouldn't it? Ooh! I think so. I don't know if any of you are Miss Marple fans, but and if you are, tell me, what actress do you prefer? Like, what season or series of Miss Marples do you really, really enjoy? The Geraldine McEwen ones, or there's some two earlier actresses that did Miss Marples, or the present one, and Julia Mackenzie, she does a fabulous job too, but for some reason Geraldine McEwen kind of steals my heart with Miss Marple. But anyways, let me know what you think. I'd be curious. Okay, on to, what are we on to? Whips. Should we do whips? We just should do whips. Well, wait a minute. Let's backtrack here. Finished things, right? So I do have some finished spinning. And this is the Quillen Fiber Arts braid. It was a 4-ounce braid that I got, and I split it down the center. So 2 ounces and 2 ounces. This is 2 ounces that I then split up into 3s again. And I spun them on 3 bobbins and then plied them together as a three ply. And I'm kind of copying Joanna Spring's, the way that she's been spinning fiber for sock yarn. It's absolutely brilliant. She's a genius. But it's a way to spin 4 ounces of fiber and spin it for sock yarn that makes it really interesting to knit. So this is the Tweedy bit. This will be Tweedy. The next section that I'm spinning, it will be a 3-ply again, but it will be Navajo plied so that the colors will remain in their color sequence. So it will be striped. So then you stripe the socks as you knit them. And if you're confused, just stay tuned because I will show you. But I was so happy that I got this little bit done, and it's absolutely gorgeous. The colorway is Betsy's favorite color. And again, it's Quillen Fiber Arts on Etsy. So that was fun. So I'm working on the next half, but I did finish that, which I was so happy about. Works in progress. Well, folks, 2 of my works in progress are, can you guess? Socks. Okay, I was laughing a little bit. Why do we knit socks so much? I want to do a little essay on why are knitters serially obsessed with socks, right? because we're always knitting them. Here's the current pair. I'm almost done. I've been slowed down by other things. This is the Regia Color Mania color 0456, I think. It's colorway pastel. Here is the finished sock. This one I was experimenting with elongating my garter stitch short row heel by adding a section of garter stitch in the back, about 16 rows before I start the garter stitch heel. And I think I'm going to really like it. It feels really good on, and it just elongates that so that the portion that kind of hits your shoe the most is protected by garter stitch. So I really like it. I really do. So I'm modifying my own garter stitch short row heel. Then I did a star toe, and I'm planning on doing that here on this sock as well. So again, I did about 16 rows of garter stitch before I started my short row heel, and I'm halfway through. So, and I have a beautiful needle cozy from Danny of Little Bobbins on my socks, because I tend to lose stitches if I don't. I did see, and I'll link to this, the Gnome Knitter has a delightful little tutorial on how to make these. Now, I did try my hand at making them, and they're okay, but I definitely think that they're worth a purchase from either Little Bobbins shop, or the Gnome Knitter has a wonderful shop, Etsy shop, with a bunch of these in it as well. So they definitely work for you. They work for you. It's wonderful. So those are my socks, but yeah, I am pondering the question, why do we knit socks so much? I mean, I have my own personal reasons, but I'd be really curious to see what your reasons are. Why do you knit socks? And then we'll see if I can do my little essay, and yeah, we'll see where that goes. I think it's very humorous that we knit socks so much. Now, I can't show you this pair of socks that are on my needles. I can show you the yarn. This is some yarn that I dyed last year. I was just goofing around, but it's so pretty, and I'd love to have time to goof around and dye some more yarn. This yarn I did dye with acid dyes. I think I had some free time. My husband had the boys, they were out, and I had a Saturday to myself, and so I was able to play around with acid dyes in the garage. But anyways, I am very excited about these socks that I'm knitting. I am doing a test knit for Brownie Knits, and she's coming out with a really delightful sock pattern soon. So I will show you those as soon as I can, but in the meantime, they shall be a little secretive. I have one sock done and half of the other one done. So whips in progress. Okie dokie. Now for the last whip. I'm working heartily away on my Georgia cardigan. This is the Georgia cardigan by Jane Richmond, and it's really sweet. It's a really nice, lightweight, light and airy, fingering weight sweater that's a cardigan that has some really cute details that don't show up because I'm knitting it in navy blue, I know, but I wanted in navy blue. She has a little bit of gathering right here, and again, it's after the yoke, there we go, on the back too. So it's very plain and simple, but I really needed a plain and simple lightweight cardigan in navy blue. So I'm doing it. I've had this yarn for years, I think 6 years, with the idea, first it was going to become a featherweight, But I decided I didn't like how open the featherweight cardigan was, and I wanted something a little more closed in on the front. So the Georgia cardigan by Jane Richmond seemed to be the perfect answer. I'm knitting it out of Malabrigo in their sock. And I'll give you the colorway. I think it's Azure. I can give you there it is. Yeah, it's really pretty blue. Navy blue with some bits of black in it. So there is one more work in progress. That's right. This is a fun one. This was a gift to me. This is Sandra of the Cherry Heart blog and the Cherry Heart podcast. She does have a podcast. She has a new crochet shawl out for spring. Let me see if I can get to the front page of it so I can show you. It's called the Victoria Shawl, A Touch of Luxury. Isn't that pretty? It is so well written. It is charted as well as written, and it has, it's written in the UK crochet terms, but it also has the translations for the US crochet terms, which is so helpful. But it's absolutely beautiful. I was gifted it by the lovely Amelia, so thank you so much. Amelia already has hers done. She's so fast. She's amazing. I am knitting this out of, oh goodness, I remember the name and then it is now escaping me. I shall get that for you and put it in the show notes. It's on the tip of my tongue. Don't you hate that when that happens? I can think of it, but I can't. Oh well. I'm really enjoying it. It's absolutely beautiful. It's a bit bright for such a delicate shawl, but I think it's going to be absolutely lovely to wear. I tend to wear a lot of neutrals with just one pop of brightness. Like right now I'm wearing red as my pop of brightness. But this will be beautiful. Again, I'm so sorry. I will have to get you the name of the yarn and the colorway. Pull this out a little bit so I can show you. Whee! Let's see. So I haven't gotten very far into it, but I am enjoying it very much. So it's top down, and it has those little flowers in it, which when it's blocked out, they'll really pop out. It's fun to be doing a crochet shawl. I haven't done one in years, but this one really caught my eye as being really, really beautiful. So Sandra has done a beautiful job, and Amelia, it was such a lovely gift, so thank you very much. So I am enjoying that, and it's a bit of bright tulipy purple for the spring. So hopefully I will have made better progress next time. I think that is it for right now. John did want to say a little bit. In fact, we recorded a little session a week ago, and then he's been begging me to podcast. So this is a bit, you have him to thank for making me sit down. But he wanted to share a few of his designs that he's been designing. And anyways, I hope you enjoy it. He's a darling. And it was good to sit and chat with you guys. And I'll be back, okay? I'll be back. Happy Easter, happy spring, or happy fall, because I know some of you in Australia are headed into fall. But we'll see, and happy knitting. We'll see you next time. Hi friends, welcome back to A Knitter's Life. I've got John here today. He has made some special things at school, and he would like to be on the podcast again. So I'm going to have him on and interview him about the things that he's been making and designing. He's been designing some really cool things. So the first one that we wanted to, oh, did you want to say hi? Go ahead.
Hi. Did you know my name is John?
How old are you, John?
6.
Yes. It's a fun age, isn't it? What grade are you in?
First.
That's right. He's in first grade, and you're doing a good job. Today was, what date was today?
Today was March 14th, 2016.
And you had library today, didn't you?
Yeah, I did have a library.
Yeah, it was fun. So today it was a very rainy day, wasn't it?
It was.
So you didn't have recess outside.
Yeah.
So instead, you got to do some fun things in the classroom.
Yeah, and this is what I made. So I'm going to have Mom hold it up here. And so
tell us about this design.
Well, if you're wondering how I made it,
yes.
Then I started doing the dots, different colors. And I didn't mean to do this, but if you look closely, there's darker colors on this side and brighter colors on this side.
Well, let's hold it up to the camera closer so they can see that.
See that?
That is very cool. So you started with the dots, and then you made it dot to dot.
Yeah,
okay.
And then I glued it on there. I think this is what happened. Then I did some wavy lines here. And then I went over them with cross lines.
I like that.
And then I did these, and then it was the same color cross. And if you can see, look very closely, there's some red mixed in too.
I like it. I like it. I like how there's just so many different kinds of textures and.
See the red in there?
And you specifically made this today because you wanted to share it with everybody on the podcast. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah, I love it.
Now we're going to talk about some yarn.
John has been designing yarn for me.
Yeah. So this is the yarn. And here, I'll do a close up. See that? It's the yarn.
I love it. Has to mom at the bottom.
Yeah, see that?
He delivered this to me one day, and it was a special surprise. And I just love the colors, very many colors. So we were talking about what color, if we were to try to dye this up as a real yarn, I could make him some socks.
Yeah, so if you see, there's some green in there. And there's some blue and yellow and orange. And some purple and some red.
And then I asked John to design some more yarn for me.
Yes. So and I thought this color of yarn could be John's for sock yarn. And Mom thinks it could be.
I thought it could be spring sock yarn because I think the pink in there is very pretty. And then John designed some other sock yarn, and I think you were thinking that this would look more like summer. Is that right?
Yeah. So here's this. I draw two, as you can see. So I draw green, yellow, red, orange.
You put it all on the back, which is so nice. You wrote all the colors out on the back?
Not all of them.
Okay.
And I did blue. Did I mention green?
Yes, you did.
Oh, and I did violet red in there.
You did.
In the middle. And did I mention yellow?
And what color? You did.
Oh.
What color, what name did you think you were going to call this one?
I thought this could be John's summer socks.
So I think that would be fun.
Summer sock yarn.
I think we should try to dye it up. And if we can't dye it up, we'll have to find a yarn dyer that could try to figure it out for us. Because there's very beautiful.
Here is the last one.
Okay. You need one in each level of your home.
Yes, and we do have one in each level of home. And here is a close-up.
Excellent. Well, John, thank you so much for joining us today and sharing your fun things that you've designed and that you've created with. We really appreciate hearing from you, and we'll look forward to having you on the podcast again. Should we say bye?
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to our podcast.
Thank you.